Hi indie gamers, it's the Steam Autumn Sale, and as always, I love to save you time by compiling a list of top picks so you can spend less time looking for games and more time playing them. While some of my absolute favourite games are slightly over £10, they're worth your time and money, especially Beacon Pines, which was my game of the year last year, but the rest of this list are all under £10, ensuring you get the most bang for your buck. All of these games are games that I've personally played and can highly recommend, or games that I've watched playthroughs of and thought they were worth a mention. Starting with The Wild at Heart. You play as a young boy who runs away from home and finds himself in another world deep in the forest that has been overtaken by dark creatures. Along with his best friend and some cute little creatures called Spritelings, you must aid a group called the Green Shields and fight back against the darkness. It's a lovely game with some light puzzling and crafting, and was just a really lovely adventure. Next on the list is a game that you've probably almost definitely heard of. It's Stardew Valley. I can't believe that this is under £10. There are hundreds of hours to be enjoyed in Stardew Valley. It's the classic farming sim and what I would consider the blueprint for the perfect farming sim. But it's deeper than just farming. There are relationships to be had and a community to contribute to, seasonal events to enjoy, and so much to do and collect, and for under £10 it's an absolute bargain. Dome Keeper has quickly become one of my favourite simple strategy games. It's both incredibly relaxing, addictive, yet challenging and difficult to master. At the start of each game of Dome Keeper, you begin with a simple dome. It's a game of push your luck. Each day you'll drill into the ground and collect resources to upgrade your dome and its defences, as each night you'll be attacked by the local inhabitants, and if you've drilled too far down you won't be able to make it back up in time to defend it. Once the dome breaks, you have to start all over again. Part of the enjoyment of the game is starting over and just trying to do better than you did the last time. I actually picked this game up for free on Amazon Gaming, so if you like the look of this one, it may be worth checking to see if it's still free there, because Once Upon a Jester is so good, but I think the 50% off price point is about right for it, as it's very short. This game is like a comedy improv, where you follow the story of two best friends, Sock and Jester. A lot of stuff just feels made up on the fly, and it can be pretty hilarious, from theatre shows, jokes, comical characters. It's an absolute blast from start to finish, and I would definitely replay the game but make different choices. It was just a pure joy for me to play, and I highly recommend checking this one out. Even if it doesn't look like your style of game, I guarantee if you enjoy comedy and humour, you'll enjoy it. This game is probably one of the most saddest but most beautiful games I have ever played, and definitely one of my absolute favourites of all time. In Spiritfarer, you play as Stella, who just happens to be the new Spiritfarer. You explore beautiful islands by boat, encounter spirits who'll need your help. You'll need to build homes for them, find their favourite foods, listen to their stories, and do everything you can to fulfil their requests, making them as happy as possible before inevitably having to say goodbye. There are elements of mining, crafting, cooking, and even fishing. The cooking is especially great because you just chuck everything into an oven and see what comes out. There's even a lovely co-op mode, just as long as one of you doesn't mind playing as a very adorable cat. If you enjoy cartoons like Gravity Falls, then I think you're really going to enjoy the next one. In Lost in Play, you play as brother and sister in an imaginary world where they solve some quite intricate and challenging puzzles. I love the visual style of this one, and I think for such a low price, if you enjoy puzzle games, a bit of humour and the cartoon style, then this should definitely be on your list, and it's an absolute bargain at this price. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And we've reached the under £5 mark from here. Alba, a Wildlife Adventure is a game about a young girl, Alba, who spends the summer with her grandparents on an island, but this summer it's up to Alba to save some of the wildlife, restore their habitats, and stop the building of a hotel on an old nature reserve. You'll explore the island, taking photos and cataloguing the species, and keeping an eye out for that evasive lynx. It's one of my favourite games that I've played this year, and it's actually quite an emotional journey, so if that sounds like the game for you, then I highly recommend checking out Alba, a Wildlife Adventure. After getting separated from her grandmother during a storm, a young girl called Carto finds herself in a strange place and must find a way back to her grandmother, but it won't be easy. Carto is a puzzle adventure game where you'll need to manipulate tiles to change the world around you, which I thought was a really unique and interesting mechanic. The environments are absolutely beautiful, the characters that you meet along the way are also really charming. It was just a really lovely game. I actually never finished it, I should probably go back and do that. This one is a great little game if you enjoy adventuring, collecting, crafting and some grim fairy tale vibes. In Wytchwood, you play as a witch who wakes up with no memory, but you've made a deal with a talking goat. You've got to bring him 12 souls and he'll wake a mysterious sleeping maiden. I love the character designs in this game. Some of them are actually really sinister, and the various lands that you travel to look straight out of a storybook. Collecting the souls is really satisfying, and there's a great twist at the end, which I feel like I really should have seen come in. Okay, there may not seem much to this game, and you're probably right, it's quite simple. You play as a greedy possum that wants to eat all the food without getting caught, and there's a big goal: steal a huge pizza. This is just pure chaotic fun, great in co-op, so if you just want to have a good time stuffing your face and running around trying not to get caught, you'll enjoy Pizza Possum, and I do recommend it with a friend. It was really good in solo player, but even better in 2-player. Tales Noir is a fantastic game for those of you into beautiful pixel graphics, you don't mind a gritty mystery, and an interesting cast of anthropomorphic animal characters. This one has many layers. You start off as a simple private investigator looking into the disappearance of an otter, which leads you to discover something much more sinister. If this looks like your kind of game, I'd say it's a bargain at this price and well worth playing. There's also a prelude that you might want to play too, but it's not essential. Kingdom 2 Crowns is my favourite and most played game of all time. I actually have hundreds of hours in this game. There's so much replayability with the various DLCs, challenge islands, and there's even more content confirmed on the way. It can be played in solo or co-op, with both of you playing as monarchs, building a kingdom from the ground up, hiring workers and archers, upgrading, exploring, expanding your kingdom and defending it against attackers that come at night. It's really beautiful. I love the pixel art graphics so much. It's relaxing, it doesn't handhold, you're left to figure things out yourself through trial and error. As with Dome Keeper, it's simple but difficult to master, and I just love that. This is another of my favourite games I've played this year. In Little Misfortune, you play as a young girl, or as she likes to be called, a little lady, who sets out on an adventure guided by the mysterious Mr. Voice. This is actually a pretty dark narrative, but there's plenty of humour and lots of adorable moments. It's only a few hours long, but a great game for this price. Unboxing the Cryptic Killer is a great co-op game if you enjoy the kinds of games where you have to work together because each of you is seeing different parts of the same puzzle. Communication and teamwork are key parts of these games, and they're quickly becoming my favourite kind of co-op games. You play as 2 detectives on the case of the Cryptic Killer, but didn't you already solve this case? Why and how is the Cryptic Killer back? Solve a series of puzzles and see if you can catch him again? There's a free prologue called Unsolved Case, which I recommend playing before this one. Assemble with Care is a short and sweet game where you repair special and sentimental items for people while learning about them, their lives and their families. It's a lovely, relaxing, wholesome and heartwarming game, and I really like how the items are presented and how satisfying it was to restore them for people. The art style and narration is just really lovely, definitely worth picking up for this price. The last game on my list honestly feels like saving the best to last. I honestly can't believe how cheap this game is because it's a brilliant game, hours of playtime, and thoroughly enjoyable for anyone who loves their management sims with a side order of dungeon crawling. I'm loving games with this dual gameplay style. In Moonlighter, part of the game sees you managing a little shop selling items to locals and adventurers who flock to the area to explore the mysterious dungeons that have mysteriously and very suddenly appeared. The other part of the game involves you going into those dungeons to collect more items for your shop. The wonderful thing about this is the dungeons change every single time you go into them. I love the style, I love the music, I love the gameplay, it just all feels really fluid. It's both relaxing and challenging, and another game that I highly recommend to pretty much anyone I talk to, and for this price it is a steal, so go and pick it up if you haven't played Moonlighter already. Go and buy it and then tell me how much you enjoy it afterwards. I would love to know what games you buy in the Steam Autumn Sale and whether you picked up any of the games that I've mentioned on my list. Okay, that's it from me. Until next time, happy gaming. Bye!